That day, the atmosphere in the K-Fin Group office was filled with tense anticipation. As one of Korea's leading financial conglomerates, the company was known for its professional work environment, yet the mood in the data analysis department was more oppressive than ever. Han Seo-yeon, an intern 3 months into her tenure, was quietly seated at her desk, typing the final lines of code for her report. She had no idea that her silent dedication was about to be rendered futile by an unjust decision. Seo-yeon had a simple, unassuming appearance that made her easily overlooked. She always wore a dark, neat suit, kept her hair tied back, and wore a pair of horn-rimmed glasses. Amidst her female colleagues who dressed fashionably and followed the latest trends, Seo-yeon was a quiet, composed note. This appearance and her serious attitude she disliked idle chatter made her the subject of contempt and disdain from her superiors, especially Director Park Tae-jun. I am standing here today as Han Seo-yeon, a former intern at K-Fin, and I am standing here with my husband, Baek Hyun-woo, the chairman of Daehan Group. Park Tae-jun was a middle-aged man with a robust physique and a perpetually arrogant expression. He valued formalities and social connections more than substantive ability. From the moment Seo-yeon stepped into the department, Director Park was displeased with her. He always contemptuously called her the little intern girl. He believed that someone with such an ordinary appearance could not possess any remarkable talent, and even ignored how quickly and accurately she completed her work. The reporters' murmurs grew louder. They were surprised that Seo-yeon was publicly admitting she was the wife of Chairman Baek Hyun-woo. Seo-yeon took a moment to compose herself and continued. The current project was a top-secret mission to assess the risks of a large-scale merger and acquisition. Director Park, hoping for her failure, assigned Seo-yeon the most difficult part of the project. This would give him a reason to fire her and replace her with another intern from his network. However, Seo-yeon poured all her time and passion into solving this complex problem. She worked tirelessly, sometimes staying late into the night to ensure every piece of data was meticulously and accurately analyzed. Recently, there have been rumors that a large sum was paid using my credit card. There have also been rumors that pictures of a luxurious lifestyle were uploaded to a social media account in my name. All of these things are not true. And now, the report was complete. Seo-yeon carried the thick folder and headed to Director Park's office. Her footsteps echoed in the quiet hallway. As the office door opened, Park Tae-jun looked up from his desk, his gaze indifferent as he glanced at her. Park Tae-jun scoffed from behind the podium. "It's no use lying now." He was certain. "Director Park, this is the risk analysis report for Project F. It's finished," Seo-yeon said in a calm voice, placing the documents on his desk. But Seo-yeon's next words froze him. Park Tae-jun didn't even look at the papers. He picked up his phone, pretending to be busy. "Just leave it there. You can go home. Over the past few days, I have investigated all the bank accounts and credit card usage histories in my name, as well as all my social media accounts. As a result, I have discovered that money was withdrawn from my bank accounts and payments were made with my credit cards without my permission. And I have secured conclusive evidence that all of these actions were directed by Director Park Tae-jun." "Yes, Director. I had a few questions about some of the numbers in the report." Seo-yeon tried to ask about a few data points she wanted to clarify, but Director Park rudely cut her off. Seo-yeon opened her laptop screen and showed it to the reporters. The screen displayed emails and messenger records from K-Fin's server, containing instructions from Park Tae-jun to his subordinate to fabricate false transactions using Seo-yeon's personal information and to create a fake social media account. The evidence was so clear that there was no room for rebuttal. "I said you can go home. Didn't you hear me?" He looked up at Seo-yeon with an annoyed expression. "Your skill level is sufficient for that analysis. The rest will be handled by more experienced people." Park Tae-jun's face turned white as a sheet. He had expected Seo-yeon to fight back, but he never imagined that she would so thoroughly use all of his mistakes against him. His arrogance had completely blinded him to Seo-yeon's true abilities and intelligence. He had fallen into the trap he had set himself. Seo-yeon swallowed her words. She knew an argument would be pointless. She bowed her head, turned quietly, and left. The moment she stepped out the door, Park Tae-jun tossed the documents aside and made a phone call to an acquaintance. Park Tae-jun's face was ashen. The countless camera flashes at the press conference mercilessly captured his distorted expression. He couldn't believe that the press conference he had so meticulously prepared was being utterly destroyed by a single statement and a screenshot from a small intern named Han Seo-yeon. His mind was so full of confusion that he couldn't think, as if a massive circuit had shorted out. "It's done. I've taken care of the girl. You can come in and start working next week," he said with a voice of triumph. This is a fabrication! It's all a lie!" Park Tae-jun shouted in a trembling voice. His desperate cry echoed through the entire conference hall. Sounding like a pathetic excuse, Seo-yeon returned to her desk and began packing her things. No emotion showed on her face, but a sense of disappointment and a slow-burning anger began to boil inside her. 3 months of grueling effort, enduring ridicule and contempt, had led to this absurd result. She knew her own abilities well and realized that this dismissal had nothing to do with her competence. It was just a trivial power game played by arrogant and tyrannical people. Han Seo-yeon looked at him with a calm gaze. Her expression held no sympathy or anger, only a firm resolve to convey the clear facts. While she was packing, her only colleague who had treated her with respect, Min-ho, approached her. "It is not a fabrication, Director Park," Seo-yeon said softly into the microphone. "All of this evidence was retrieved from your official email account and internal messenger records, which were stored on Kafin's server. All the data has timestamps, IP addresses, and your unique electronic signature. This evidence is perfectly verifiable in a court of law." "Seo-yeon, what are you doing?" Min-ho asked with a worried voice. The reporters buzzed with excitement after Seo-yeon's words. They barraged Park Tae-jun with even sharper questions. "Director Park, why did you fabricate fake payments in Han Seo-yeon's name? Are the rumors of your involvement in illegal financial transactions true?" Seo-yeon gave a faint smile. I was fired." Park Tae-jun fell silent. He knew there was no longer any room for excuses. His face was filled with despair, and his eyes trembled with anxiety. He had been defeated by Han Seo-yeon. He had been utterly defeated by the small woman he had so contemptuously called the little intern girl. His arrogance had blinded him, and he had no idea how powerful his opponent was. Min-ho was stunned. "That's impossible. You did so well on that project. Didn't you?" The report? At that moment, the temporary chairman of the Kafin Board of Directors and Park Tae-jun's direct superior, Chairman Kang, stepped onto the podium. He looked at Park Tae-jun with a calm but firm expression. "It's okay." Seo-yeon cut him off. "I knew this would happen anyway. Director Park Tae-jun, step down from all your positions immediately," Chairman Kang said. "The board of directors has suspended all your duties, and our legal team will investigate all your actions. You are no longer a member of K-Fin." Min-ho realized there was nothing more to say. He knew Director Park's personality well and that no words would help. He just patted her on the shoulder in a gesture of comfort. Chairman Kang's announcement was another shock to the conference hall. Park Tae-jun looked at Chairman Kang with a dazed expression. He realized he had been completely abandoned. His accomplices had already turned their backs on him, and he was now alone. He had lost everything: his reputation, his power, and his future. Everything had vanished in an instant. Seo-yeon carried a box of her personal belongings and left the office. Her access card was already deactivated. She walked down the hallway and through the lobby, where she had once dreamed of a bright future. Now, everything seemed to have turned into ruins. She did not look back, but her steps felt heavy. Park Tae-jun stepped off the podium and bowed his head. His shoulders slumped, and there was no longer any arrogance or anger in his eyes. Only emptiness and a sense of defeat remained. He crumbled in front of the countless cameras and reporters. He had knelt at the feet of Han Seo-yeon, a person he had once thought of as someone he could afford to ignore. As Seo-yeon stepped out of the building's revolving door, a cold wind blew, gently rustling her hair. She looked up at the gray Seoul sky. Her heart was empty, but not from despair. That emptiness was filled with a cold resolve and a plan that was slowly taking shape in her mind. She knew her life would not end here. That evening, Park Tae-jun sat alone in his office. He had already lost everything, but his mind was still uneasy. He didn't know the real reason why Han Seo-yeon had pushed him this far. He sensed that she had a grand plan that went beyond simple revenge. Then, his phone rang. The caller was Kim Jung-ho. She stood like a stranger amidst the busy crowd. This failure was just a small scratch on the long journey ahead of her. She was no longer the weak intern. Han Seo-yeon, She had acted powerless for 3 months, but now it was time to return to her true self. Director Park, what are you going to do now? Kim Jung-ho's voice was cold and heartless. You've put all of us in danger. You'll have to bear all the consequences yourself. Unless you betray us, we won't help you. Seo-yeon took a deep breath and lifted her head. As she was about to step off the building's stairs, the deafening roar of an engine ripped through the quiet space. It was a sound all too familiar to her, a sound that could only come from an expensive and powerful machine. Her gaze turned towards it, and a cold smile spread across her lips. Park Tae-jun was shocked by Kim Jung-ho's betrayal. He had expected Kim Jung-ho to abandon him, but he never thought he would turn his back on him so quickly. He was desperate. He realized he was fighting against a massive force that he couldn't handle alone. Then, he came to a realization. Han Seo-yeon was chasing the shadow behind him. She was trying to lure out Kim Jung-ho and the even bigger power hiding behind him, by using him. He realized he was part of her plan. As the press conference began, countless camera flashes went off. Seo-yeon stood on the podium with Baek Hyun-woo. She was still dressed simply, but her eyes were more intense and resolute than ever. She picked up the microphone and said calmly. Park Tae-jun fell into deep thought. He was filled with a desire for revenge against Kim Jung-ho's betrayal. He began to consider joining forces with Han Seo-yeon to bring down Kim Jung-ho. He had lost everything, but he still had one thing left. The secrets he knew about Kim Jung-ho. He thought he might be able to use these secrets to reduce his sentence and salvage his reputation. His arrogance still dominated him, but it had now been replaced by a desperate will to survive. The car was like a beast breaking the silence. Under the gray sky, on the windy street, it roared with a ferocious sound that drew everyone's attention. The Koenigsegg Jesko, a hypercar from a Swedish manufacturer, worth $8 million, came to a halt in front of Seo-yeon as if it had arrived from the future. The subtle silver sheen of its body lit up the surroundings despite the cloudy weather. Park Tae-jun and several colleagues watched this incredible sight from the window, their mouths agape. The contempt they had just shown towards Seo-yeon vanished from their faces, replaced by a mixture of confusion and shock. Holding his phone, Park Tae-jun hesitated for a long time. Han Seo-yeon's face appeared before his eyes. Her cold gaze, which had watched him unflinchingly from the podium. That gaze was sharper than any enemy he had ever faced. He realized she had meticulously planned this entire situation and was filled with a sense of awe at the power she held. He was torn between his desire for revenge and his survival instincts. Revenge was his only chance to regain everything he had lost, but it was also a dangerous gamble that could lead him into a deeper abyss. The car door opened slowly, and a man stepped out. He was wearing a black coat over a well-tailored suit. He was tall, and his refined attire accentuated his perfect physique. He maintained a calm demeanor despite the chaotic situation and walked quietly towards Seo-yeon. He gently placed a hand on her shoulder. Seo-yeon felt his warmth and regained her composure. He finally called Kim Jung-ho, but it wasn't Kim Jung-ho's number. It was Han Seo-yeon's. His hands trembled, but his mind was already made up. The call connected after a few rings. "I'm sorry to have kept you waiting. I was a little late," the man said in a gentle voice. His voice was low, but the power and authority within it overwhelmed the surrounding air. Seo-yeon nodded. A cold smile bloomed on her face. The man's appearance was a signal that her plan had begun. "I knew you'd call. Director Park." Han Seo-yeon's voice on the other end of the line was as calm and composed as he had expected. "It's okay. I think I came out a little early," Seo-yeon replied in an unusually playful tone. "Han Seo-yeon." Park Tae-jun's voice was choked up. He couldn't even say her name properly. What was your purpose?" The two held hands and got into the car. As the door closed, the outside returned to silence. Park Tae-jun pressed his face against the window, staring blankly at this unbelievable scene. He was confused, remembering that Seo-yeon was the intern he had just dismissed with contempt. How could she get into a car like that? And so casually, Park Tae-jun couldn't believe it was real. Seo-yeon quietly laughed. "My purpose. Director Park, you already know. To make you lose everything you have." Her voice was as if she could read his mind. "And to find the person behind you, because you were nothing but a puppet." The car's interior was filled with the scent of luxurious leather. Seo-yeon buckled her seatbelt and looked at the man. He was Baek Hyun-woo, the CEO of Daehan Group, one of the most influential conglomerates in Korea. And at the same time, He was also her husband. Their marriage was a secret. Their relationship was based on genuine love and trust, not a business deal or an arranged marriage. But to avoid the complex scrutiny of the world, they chose to keep their relationship a secret. Park Tae-jun was in shock. The fact that she had accurately read his thoughts made him even more anxious. He could no longer pretend to be tough. He decided to be honest with her. "Why did you come all of a sudden?" Seo-yeon asked him. "That's right. I wasn't alone. I was following director Kim Jung-ho's orders. He was the unofficial power behind K-Fin and was pulling all the strings through me." "I heard you were fired," Baek Hyun-woo replied softly, his hands on the steering wheel. "You didn't tell me, so I had to come in person." His eyes held a mixture of concern and anger over the injustice she had suffered. Seo-yeon showed no surprise at his confession. She spoke as if she had known everything all along. Seo-yeon bowed her head and smiled. "I didn't want to bother you with something like this. I thought I could handle it myself." "So what are you going to do now? Are you going to stay loyal to Kim Jung-ho and take all the blame? Or are you going to join hands with me and reveal the truth? I have no intention of stopping you from handling things yourself, but I can't just stand by and watch you get into danger," Baek Hyun-woo said firmly. His tone was gentle, but it clearly showed how much he cherished her. "Tell me your plan. Let me know how I can help." Park Tae-jun hesitated. He knew her offer was his only way out, but at the same time, he couldn't trust her. She was the very person who had made him lose everything. Seo-yeon quietly looked at Baek Hyun-woo's face. He was not just her husband. He was her strongest supporter and the only person who shared her secrets. She told him everything: why she had gone undercover as an intern at K-Fin, how Park Tae-jun had disdained her, and how her project report had been unfairly evaluated. "How can I trust you?" Park Tae-jun asked. "Park Tae-jun is just a figurehead," Seo-yeon said calmly. "He fired me to look good to the chairman. The project I was working on could have had a major impact on the chairman's investment decision." Her voice was no longer filled with disappointment. Only cold anger and a desire for revenge remained. "Trust is a matter of choice. Director Park," Seo-yeon said softly, "you have already been betrayed by Kim Jung-ho. He will throw you into the pit and hide behind you. But I will give you a chance. If you reveal the truth and expose all of Kim Jung-ho's corruption, your sentence will be reduced, and you can at least be one of the winners of this grand revenge drama." "So, what's your plan?" Baek Hyun-woo asked. Seo-yeon's offer shook Park Tae-jun's heart. He had to admit that her proposal was tempting. He had already lost everything. But if he joined hands with her, he might at least be able to get revenge on Kim Jung-ho and salvage his reputation. His pride still dominated him, but it had now turned into a desperate need for survival. "I'm going to make him pay for the unfair treatment he gave me," Seo-yeon said determinedly. "And I'm going to find the shadow hiding behind him. He's definitely acting on someone's orders. Park Tae-jun couldn't have pulled this off alone. If I join hands with you, how can you help me?" Park Tae-jun asked cautiously. Baek Hyun-woo smiled with satisfaction as he listened to her. He loved Seo-yeon's intelligence and strong will. She wasn't just his beautiful wife. She was his most trusted partner and a companion in all his plans. "I can turn all the information you have into evidence," Seo-yeon said. "All the emails and messenger records Kim Jung-ho sent you, all the audio recordings, all the transaction histories. I can make them all valid evidence in court. You just have to tell the truth. I'll take care of the rest." "Good. Do as you wish," Baek Hyun-woo said. "I'll be your solid support. I'll provide you with everything you need." Park Tae-jun was silent for a long time. He was in deep thought. He finally decided to use his last card. He told Han Seo-yeon the biggest secret Kim Jung-ho had been hiding. Seo-yeon held his hand. "Thank you." Kim Jung-ho illegally siphoned K-Fin's funds to an overseas shell company. He was using that company to launder money. The company's name is the Shadow Group, and the real owner of that company is the chairman of Dihon Group, Baek Hyun-woo. Baek Hyun-woo held her hand tightly. "We'll do this together." Seo-yeon's eyes widened. She was shocked by the unexpected twist. She thought Park Tae-jun was lying to get revenge on her, but there was no tremor in his voice. He was telling the truth. She was stunned by the fact that her husband, Baek Hyun-woo, was the real shadow behind K-Fin's corruption. She had trusted him, but she felt betrayed that she didn't know his deepest secret. At that moment, the area in front of the K-Fin building was in chaos. Reporters had swarmed the place, and Park Tae-jun was in a difficult situation. As soon as the news of him firing Seo Yeon became public, the media began to speculate on the connection between Seo Yeon and the $8 million car. Park Tae-jun ran around frantically trying to fix the situation, but it was already out of control. His arrogance and contempt were the beginning of this great storm. Now, he had to face the consequences of his actions. Seo Yeon smiled quietly from behind them. She knew the first step of her plan had been a success. Han Seo Yeon froze with the receiver in her hand. Park Tae-jun's voice echoed in her ears. The Shadow Group. The real owner is the chairman of Daehan Group, Baek Hyun-woo. Her heart felt as if it had shattered into a million pieces of broken glass. She couldn't believe that the person she had trusted so much, the husband who had supported and helped her with all her plans for revenge, was the very heart of the corruption she wanted to bring down. Baek Hyun-woo's Koenigsegg left the city's hustle behind and headed for a secluded mansion on the outskirts. The car was quiet, and Seo Yeon and Hyun-woo silently watched the scenery outside the window. Seo Yeon's mind was calm yet sharp, like a player facing the start of a great game. She was no longer a powerless intern who had been unfairly fired. Her heartbeat was like the sound of a drum, signaling the start of a meticulously planned revenge drama. A lie? It's a lie? Seo Yeon muttered blankly. The phone slipped from her hand and fell to the floor. With a sharp crack, the screen shattered. It was a reflection of her heart. Her eyes trembled with anxiety, and her heart raced out of control. Her mind was filled with countless thoughts. Was all of this planned? Did he use me? Why did he lie to me? The car stopped in front of a massive mansion with a tightly closed iron gate. The mansion was surrounded by a forest and exuded a majestic and noble atmosphere. This grand structure was not just a residence. It was one of the practical headquarters of the Daehan Group and Baek Hyun-woo's private fortress. As Seo Yeon stepped inside, she felt her life had entered an entirely new phase. Her eyes were filled with a mixture of betrayal, confusion, and deep despair. She had believed her revenge against Park Tae-jun was not just against an arrogant and incompetent boss, but against the massive shadow hiding behind him. And the fact that the shadow was her own husband shook her entire world. Upon entering the study, Baek Hyun-woo personally brewed a cup of tea for Seo Yeon. His delicate consideration provided her with a warm sense of comfort. Seo Yeon sat across from him and began to calmly explain her plan. Her voice was low and composed, but the logic behind it was as sharp as a blade. Park Tae-jun believes my dismissal was an act to prevent my project from influencing the chairman's investment decision. Seo Yeon said, he must have been afraid that I would write an unfavorable report about his project. But his real target wasn't me. It was the data in my report. Because he disdained me, he had no idea how deeply I had analyzed that data. Baek Hyun-woo nodded, listening to her words. He knew the purpose of Seo Yeon's undercover internship at K-Fin. She was not just his wife. She was a secret agent he had planted to uncover potential risks within the group. Seo Yeon had been using her outstanding analytical skills to track suspicious financial transactions and hidden corruption within K-Fin. If Park Tae-jun had known her true identity, he would never have dared to fire her. Seo Yeon, you. Baek Hyun-woo carefully approached her. Park Tae-jun firing me was his biggest mistake, Seo Yeon said with a smile. Now I'm no longer under their control. I can move much more freely. Don't come near me, Seo Yeon screamed. Her voice was filled with both anger and deep sorrow. You were behind all of this. You were the real owner of the Shadow Group. How are you going to start? Baek Hyun-woo asked. Baek Hyun-woo sighed. He knew it was time to tell her the truth. He knelt down and looked her straight in the eyes. First, I'm going to spread a rumor that the report I wrote has been leaked externally. Seo Yeon explained. Of course, it won't be the real report. I'll leak a hypothetical report based on my analysis of Park Tae-jun's actions. This report will contain a negative outlook on a specific K-Fin project. It's not what you think. Seo Yeon, please, listen to me. Baek Hyun-woo's eyes lit up. That will make Park Tae-jun nervous. He'll be afraid you're going to expose his corruption. I don't want to listen, Seo Yeon cried. You lied to me, you used me. You were at the center of the corruption I wanted to bring down. You acted as if you were fighting for justice with me. But in fact, you were just using me to protect yourself, weren't you? Exactly, Seo Yeon said, smiling as if she had read his mind. He'll be desperate to stop his corruption from being exposed and to prevent that report from reaching the chairman. In the process, He'll make more mistakes. And that's when we'll secure the real evidence. Hot tears streamed down Seo-yeon's face. She remembered all the moments he had supported her revenge drama. His warm gaze, his gentle voice, his firm support. Was all of it just a facade? Was it all a play to manipulate her? She explained her detailed plan to Baek Hyun-woo. Her plan was not just for revenge. It was a sophisticated psychological game designed to use Park Tae-jun's greed and arrogance to lead him to his own downfall, and at the same time, to lure out the bigger power hiding behind him. Seo-yeon had a clear understanding of K-Fin's organizational structure and sensed that Park Tae-jun could not have done all this by himself. She was sure he was someone's puppet. I loved you, Seo-yeon said in a trembling voice. And I trusted you. I thought you were on my side. But you've been playing with me behind my back. He'll definitely ask his accomplices for help to protect himself. Seo-yeon said, that's when we can sever their connection. Park Tae-jun will betray his accomplices, and we can secure all the evidence. Baek Hyun-woo tried to wipe away her tears, but she pushed his hand away. Baek Hyun-woo was impressed as he listened to her plan. Her intelligence and composure were beyond what he had expected. Her plan was perfectly rational and had a high chance of success. He took her hand and said softly, please, Seo-yeon, it's a misunderstanding. There's a bigger picture you don't know about. Baek Hyun-woo said, I didn't use you. You are my only companion, and I was just trying to protect you from all the danger. You are truly an amazing person, Seo-yeon. He began to tell Seo-yeon everything. His voice was filled with sincerity. He explained that he had been secretly investigating K-Fin Group's corruption for years. The Shadow Group was not a company he had created himself, but a shell company created by the corrupt forces within K-Fin to launder Daehan Group's funds. Baek Hyun-woo had been tracking their secret transactions by pretending to own the company in his name. Seo-yeon blushed at his compliment. Thank you. But I need your help. I can't take on this huge organization alone. Their goal was to hijack Daehan Group's major projects. Baek Hyun-woo explained. They were using K-Fin's poor financial condition to endanger our group. The reason you went undercover as an intern at K-Fin was to find the real corruption they were trying to hide. I trusted your abilities and thought you were the only person who could find their corruption. Don't worry, you're not alone, Baek Hyun-woo said. I'll support your every move. I'll provide you with all the necessary resources and information. But remember, your safety is my top priority. Then why didn't you tell me the truth? Why did you hide all of this from me? Seo-yeon asked. Her voice was now filled with deep hurt rather than anger. His voice was firm, yet filled with deep love. Seo-yeon felt his genuine concern for her. She nodded. The anger in her heart had now turned into a calm determination. She would make Park Tae-jun pay for his unfair treatment, and she would find the shadow hiding behind him. She was no longer a powerless intern. She was the wife of the Daehan Group's chairman, and a powerful force stood behind her. To protect you, Seo-yeon, Baek Hyun-woo said. If they had known that you were my wife and also my secret agent, they would have tried to kill you. I didn't want to put you in danger. I wanted you to be safe. That's why I had no choice but to keep all of this a secret from you. As her plan began, the first arrow flew towards Park Tae-jun. A rumor spread through K-Fin and the media that Park Tae-jun had illegally fired Seo-yeon. The rumor spread quickly, and Park Tae-jun was cornered. He frantically tried to control the situation, but it was too late. The media began to speculate about Seo-yeon and the $8 million car, and Park Tae-jun's name began to be mentioned in connection with negative headlines. Now he could no longer hide his arrogance. His arrogant expression was now distorted with confusion and anger. Baek Hyun-woo began to talk about his past. He also had a painful past of losing his parents. His parents passed away in a mysterious accident while trying to expose the corruption within Daehan Group. He knew their death was not a simple accident and had planned all of this to get revenge for them. He didn't want to put the person he loved in danger for his revenge, so he hid everything from Seo-yeon. The rumors spread by Han Seo-yeon spread faster than expected. The media churned out gossipy articles that a woman presumed to be the wife of the Daehan Group's chairman was fired from K-Fin, instantly linking Park Tae-jun's name to a negative issue. The whispers about him grew louder inside and outside the office, and his arrogant demeanor noticeably began to falter. He ran around frantically to contain the situation, but it was already out of control. It was the first consequence of his arrogance. Seo-yeon fell into deep thought as she listened to his story. She couldn't find any lies in his eyes. His voice was trembling with sincerity, and his face was filled with deep regret and sadness. She realized he hadn't used her, but had tried to protect her. His love was deep, but the fact that he had hidden the truth from her had left her deeply hurt. Park Tae-jun was cooped up in his office, clutching his phone. He desperately tried to confirm if the project report Seo-yeon had written had actually been leaked externally, but he found no trace of it. His anxiety grew. He sensed that Seo-yeon wasn't just someone who was unfairly fired. She was planning revenge against him. "I understand how you feel, Hyun-woo," Seo-yeon said, "but the fact that you hid the truth from me has deeply hurt me. It makes me feel like you didn't trust me. That little intern girl, how dare she mess with me?" Park Tae-jun gritted his teeth. He recalled Seo-yeon's simple appearance and quiet personality, and couldn't believe she had masterminded all of this. He thought her only power was her status as Chairman Baek Hyun-woo's wife, and he decided to use that fact to bring her down. "It's not that I didn't trust you, Seo-yeon. I trust you more than anyone," Baek Hyun-woo said. "I just prioritized your safety above all else." He mobilized all his connections to spread negative rumors about Seo-yeon. The contents were things like, she was incompetent and a slacker as an intern, and she's using Chairman Baek Hyun-woo for revenge after being fired. He tried to tarnish Seo-yeon's reputation to invalidate her claims, but his efforts backfired. The media took Park Tae-jun's statements as official confirmation of Seo-yeon's revenge drama, and the public became fascinated with the story of a powerless intern standing up to a corrupt boss. Seo-yeon was silent for a long time. The anger and hurt in her heart slowly disappeared, and complex emotions took their place. She could understand why he had lied, but she couldn't completely erase the pain his lies had caused her. Could she forgive him? Could she trust him again and be with him? Meanwhile, in Baek Hyun-woo's mansion study, Seo-yeon was tracking Park Tae-jun's every move in real time. Her eyes were fixed on the laptop screen, and her expression was calm and collected. Like a grandmaster predicting the next move in a chess game, she had anticipated all of Park Tae-jun's actions and used every one of his mistakes to her advantage. At that moment, Seo-yeon remembered the last pieces of evidence she had from Park Tae-jun. Park Tae-jun had tried to find the real mastermind behind everything with Kim Jung-ho. She knew he hadn't betrayed Baek Hyun-woo. Park Tae-jun had told her everything and had trusted her. It was now her turn to trust Baek Hyun-woo. "He's moving exactly as expected," Seo-yeon said. Baek Hyun-woo, who was sitting next to her, nodded. "He believes he can win. His arrogance is his biggest weakness." "Okay, Hyun-woo," Seo-yeon said. I will trust you, but this time, we have to do everything together. You can no longer protect me from danger. I will be your partner. I will face the danger with you, and we will fight together." "What's the next step?" Baek Hyun-woo asked. Baek Hyun-woo's eyes lit up with surprise and emotion. He took Seo-yeon's hand and kissed the back of it. At that moment, the study door opened, and Baek Hyun-woo came in. He froze for a moment when he saw Seo-yeon's expression. He read the emotions on her face and understood everything. He knew she had heard the truth from Park Tae-jun. "Thank you, Seo-yeon. Thank you so much. We need to find the real corruption he's trying to hide." Seo-yeon replied, "The fake report I wrote was just bait. Now that he's taken the bait, we need to lure him into the trap." Seo-yeon smiled. Her revenge drama had now entered a new phase. It was no longer against an arrogant and immoral boss. It was a life-and-death struggle against the corruption of a huge organization. She was no longer alone. She was ready to fight for true justice with her husband. Seo-yeon began to reanalyze K-Fin's internal data. She scoured everything to find traces of the corruption Park Tae-jun had tried to hide. With her outstanding analytical skills and Baek Hyun-woo's extensive network, they were able to get closer to the truth at an astonishing speed. They discovered that Park Tae-jun had received massive kickbacks in exchange for giving illegal financial transactions and special favors to a specific company. The silence in the tea house shattered at the sound of Han Seo-yeon's voice. Kim Jung-ho's face turned pale with terror. He realized that Baek Hyun-woo and Han Seo-yeon had trapped him together. His arrogance crumbled in an instant, and his eyes were filled with fear and anger towards the mastermind behind this grand revenge drama. "He made millions of dollars from this project," Seo-yeon said. Her voice trembled with anger, but her eyes were cold and firm. "He fired innocent people and put the company at risk to satisfy his greed." This can't be how," Kim Jung-ho muttered in a trembling voice. His body was frozen like a beast caught in a huge trap. How are we going to use this evidence? Baek Hyun-woo asked. Baek Hyun-woo looked at him calmly. Director Kim, you brought this upon yourself. Your greed and arrogance led to all of this. You thought you were playing with a helpless intern, but you were playing with the chairman of the Daehan Group and my wife, who is uncovering all of your corruption. We'll apply direct pressure on him. We'll make him betray his accomplices. Seo-yeon explained. He'll be afraid of having to take all the blame himself. That's when we'll offer him a choice: either expose everything and go to jail, or expose his accomplices and reduce his sentence. Kim Jung-ho gritted his teeth at Seo-yeon. You betrayed me. It wasn't Park Tae-jun. You were the one who put me in this trap. Baek Hyun-woo admired Seo-yeon's cruel but effective plan. He took her hand and said softly, You're truly fascinating. At that moment, Seo-yeon's cold voice echoed again. Director Park Tae-jun already knew how you and your colleagues would abandon him. He lost everything he had, but he gained a chance to bring you and your mastermind down. Seo-yeon smiled at his words. Park Tae-jun started all of this. He has to pay for his actions. Seo-yeon held up a small device that had been hidden. The device had recorded their entire conversation. This audio file contains all the details of you threatening Director Park and giving him instructions for illegal financial transactions. This evidence is more than enough to send you to jail. Director Kim Jung-ho. Her plan moved to the next phase. Seo-yeon sent some of the evidence of Park Tae-jun's corruption to the K-fin board of directors and major media outlets via an anonymous email. The evidence wasn't conclusive, but it was enough to make them suspicious of Park Tae-jun. Park Tae-jun was asked to provide an explanation to the board, and the media began asking him sharper questions. He was cornered, and his arrogance was now replaced by fear. He realized he couldn't overcome this massive crisis alone. He called his accomplices for help. Seo-yeon watched it all and smiled. She was certain they had fallen into the trap. Kim Jung-ho's face twisted in despair. He could no longer make excuses. He realized that his entire life was falling apart. At that moment, he tried one last act of defiance. Park Tae-jun was in a desperate situation. The anonymous tips sent to the board and the media were not conclusive evidence, but they were enough to fuel suspicion about his actions. He had lived his entire life drunk on arrogance and power. But now he realized he was cornered, and fear took over. He could no longer control the situation and began to lose his reason. But I'm not alone. Park Tae-jun was just my puppet. The mastermind behind me is a much more powerful force, Kim Jung-ho shouted. His voice was filled with madness. They're going to swallow up everything at Daehan Group Chairman Baek Hyun-woo, the people who killed your parents. They're watching all of this. You can't stop them. He was in his office, his voice filled with rage as he spoke on the phone. What the hell is going on? I told you to be careful. Who would have thought that little intern girl would pull something like this? Baek Hyun-woo's face hardened. He had expected Kim Jung-ho to reveal his mastermind at the last moment. He read the truth in Kim Jung-ho's terrified eyes. Their real enemy had not yet revealed itself. They were using pawns like Kim Jung-ho to hide their identities. From the other end of the line came the calm voice of his accomplice, K-Fin's finance director, Kim Jung-ho. Calm down, Director Park. This is not the time to act emotionally. We're not sure if she has real evidence. This could just be a psychological game to shake us. Tell us who they are, Seo-yeon said softly. Her voice was as sharp as a blade. What are their names? A psychological game. Then what's with the board putting pressure on me? I told you to find a weakness in that woman immediately. Whether she's really Chairman Baek Hyun-woo's wife or just a gold digger using him. Park Tae-jun shouted, hitting the table. Kim Jung-ho laughed crazily. They are the major shareholders of Daehan Group. For decades, they have been secretly building up their power to take control of Daehan Group. All of this is just part of their grand plan. You can never win against them. Kim Jung-ho sighed. I've sent people to find out. But what's important now is something else. The rumor that she has evidence of our corruption must not spread. We have to make it so no one believes her. As soon as he finished speaking, the tea house door opened, and the police burst in. Baek Hyun-woo had called them in advance. Kim Jung-ho was arrested and led away in handcuffs. His face was no longer filled with arrogance or anger, but only with defeat and despair. He had lost everything to a small woman named Han Seo-yeon. Her revenge was a complete success. That's why I'm spreading rumors that she's incompetent and approached Chairman Baek Hyun-woo for personal gain, Park Tae-jun said excitedly. But Seo-yeon and Baek Hyun-woo's hearts were not at peace. The words Kim Jung-ho uttered at the end weighed heavily on their minds. Their fight was not over. They had to fight a bigger and more powerful enemy. Their enemy was now hiding in the heart of Daehan Group. They were shocked by the fact that one of the people they had trusted was the one who had murdered their parents. Their fight had now become a great war for the future of Daehan Group. That's not enough, Kim Jung-ho said coldly. We need a stronger move. We have to attack her directly. We have to make her lose everything she has. After Kim Jung-ho's arrest, all of his corruption and the existence of the Shadow Group were widely reported in the media. The evidence Seo-yeon had secured was so clear that there was no room for rebuttal. The police and prosecutors, with Kim Jung-ho's confession, uncovered a massive conspiracy involving the major shareholders of Daehan Group. For decades, they had been siphoning off Daehan Group's funds and buying shares through illegal means to take control of the group's management. Justice was finally served, and all those involved were brought to justice. Han Seo-yeon, who was eavesdropping on this conversation, smiled as she watched her laptop screen. She had hacked their conversation and was listening to it in real time. Her prediction was accurate. Park Tae-jun, terrified, was relying on Kim Jung-ho, and Kim Jung-ho was proposing an even more aggressive move. Their conversation was a decisive piece of evidence that they were in on it together. Daehan Group was in a state of turmoil for a while, but it quickly stabilized due to Baek Hyun-woo's swift and firm actions. He dismissed all the shareholders involved with Kim Jung-ho from the board and reformed all of the group's management systems to be more transparent. He highly praised Han Seo-yeon's ability to uncover all this corruption and offered her an important position at Daehan Group. Now they'll make a move, Seo-yeon said to Baek Hyun-woo, but Seo-yeon refused the offer. I have already completed my revenge, Hyun-woo. I no longer want to live for revenge. Now, I want to use my abilities to help others. I want to help people like me who want to fight against injustice. Yes, they'll attack you directly. Maybe they'll try hacking, surveillance, or using people around you. Baek Hyun-woo replied calmly, but don't worry, I'll protect your every move. Baek Hyun-woo was moved by her decision. He knew her true worth and supported her new life goal. He established a nonprofit organization for her. The organization's role was to help whistleblowers and support people who fought against injustice. Seo-yeon became the head of the organization and began to use her outstanding analytical skills to shine a light on the dark side of society. The next day, Seo-yeon discovered that her credit card usage had increased abnormally. Tens of millions of won worth of items were being purchased at high-end overseas brand stores, which was completely out of character for Seo-yeon's frugal lifestyle. At the same time, a fake social media account was created in her name, and pictures of expensive luxury bags and upscale restaurants were uploaded to it. Park Tae-jun and Kim Jung-ho had orchestrated all of this to create the impression that Seo-yeon was a vain and materialistic person. They leaked to the media that Seo-yeon was using Chairman Baek Hyun-woo to live a lavish lifestyle. Her revenge drama did not just bring her victory. It gave her a new mission and a new meaning to her life. She was no longer a vengeful person consumed by a desire for revenge. She was a guardian of justice, moving towards the light. She shared the lessons she had learned from her experience with others and gave them the courage to stand up to injustice. Their attack was cunning. People who knew Seo-yeon's normally thrifty lifestyle were confused, and the public was disappointed with what they saw as Seo-yeon's two-faced nature. Park Tae-jun didn't miss this opportunity and began to personally attack Seo-yeon. She's an incompetent person who only chases money and power. It was only natural that I would disdain someone like her. The story concluded by showing Han Seo-yeon and Baek Hyun-woo's new lives. They no longer had to keep their relationship a secret. They proudly revealed their love to the public. Their love became even stronger. Based on trust and respect for each other, they would wake up together in the morning and look at the stars at night, talking about their day. Their lives were filled with peace, happiness, and new hope. Their story started as a revenge drama, but ended as a journey to find true love and justice. After the storm passed, a brilliant dawn arrived in their lives. But Seo-yeon was not rattled at all. She and Baek Hyun-woo had a plan to use all this fabricated evidence against them. She decided to hold a press conference. The press conference was scheduled to be held at K-fin headquarters, and Park Tae-jun appeared at the venue, looking arrogant and confident, believing he had the upper hand. He was sure Seo Yeon wouldn't be able to expose his hypocrisy.